The winds howled, the sea raged, and when Hurricane Melissa finally passed, it left a trail of devastation across Jamaica. But the story of this storm isn't just about the winds and the waves. It's about the people left in its wake, especially those who had the least to lose, and yet lost everything. Today, we're going deep into the heart of the communities most affected by Hurricane Melissa. We look beyond the headlines and tourist reports to understand the real human cost of this natural disaster. While some areas were spared the worst, for many, the storm has become a life-faltering crisis, a daily struggle for survival that began the moment the rain stopped. Start by understanding the geography of the impact. The southern and eastern parishes, home to many rural and low-income communities, bore the brunt of Melissa's fury. These are areas where homes are often constructed from wood and zinc, built on hillsides or near riverbanks, not because people want to live in precarious situations, but because it's what they can afford. When the storm surge and torrential rains came, these homes were the first to go. Imagine watching the river you've lived by your whole life swell into a raging torrent, swallowing your home, your possessions, everything you've worked for countless families. This wasn't a hypothetical scenario. We spoke to residents in St. Thomas and Portland who recounted how they had only minutes to grab their children and run for higher ground, leaving behind all their belongings. They returned to find foundations wiped clean or structures so damaged they are now uninhabitable. The loss isn't just financial, it's deeply emotional. A home is more than just a building. It's a place of safety, a memory, a family, for many that has been washed away. The immediate aftermath was one of chaos and desperation. Access to clean water was cut off, power lines were down, and roads were impassable due to landslides and flooding. This isolation made it incredibly difficult for aid to reach the hardest-hit areas. Community members had to rely on each other, sharing what little food and water they had. It's a testament to the resilience and spirit of the Jamaican people, but it also highlights a critical vulnerability. When disaster strikes, the poorest are often the last to receive help. Beyond a loss of homes, the hurricane dealt a crippling blow to livelihoods. Many people in these rural areas are subsistence farmers. Their small plots of land, where they grow bananas, plantains, and vegetables to feed their families and sell at local markets, were completely destroyed. Crops were either flattened by the wind or washed away by the floods. Livestock, another vital source of income and food, were lost. This isn't just a temporary setback. For a farmer who has lost their entire crop, it means months with no income, no food security, and no way to replant without significant financial assistance. The ripple effect is enormous. Let's contrast this with the narrative often seen in international media. Much of the focus was on the impact on Jamaica's tourism industry. And yes, the industry did face challenges. Some hotels on the north coast, in areas like Montego Bay and Ocho Rios, sustained damage. Beaches were eroded, and tourist activities were temporarily suspended. There were cancellations, and the economic hit to the tourism sector is significant, running into millions of dollars. The government and tourism stakeholders were quick to announce recovery plans, focusing on getting resorts back up and running to protect the country's largest source of foreign exchange. This is understandable from an economic perspective. The tourism industry is a vital engine for Jamaica's economy, employing thousands of people directly and indirectly. But herein lies a tale of two Jamaicas. While resources were mobilized to repair the pristine beaches and luxury resorts, the small farmer in a forgotten parish was left wondering how they would feed their family next week. The recovery for the tourist areas, which were generally less affected, moved at a much faster pace than the recovery for the residential communities that were utterly devastated. This disparity raises difficult questions about priorities and resource allocation. When a country's economy is heavily dependent on an industry that caters to visitors, does the welfare of its most vulnerable citizens take a back seat in a crisis? The money lost from a week of hotel cancellations, while substantial, is a business loss. The money lost by a family whose home and farm have been obliterated is a humanitarian crisis. The property losses are staggering. We're not just talking about beachfront villas. We're talking about humble, single-room homes. We're talking about the small shops and cook shops that are the lifeblood of local economies. When these are destroyed, the entire community suffers. The owner loses their income, employees lose their jobs, and residents lose a vital local service. Rebuilding is a monumental task. The cost of materials has skyrocketed since the storm, and without insurance, which most low-income homeowners cannot afford, the burden falls entirely on the individual. Many are now living in temporary shelters with relatives or in the ruins of their former homes. The psychological toll of this displacement and uncertainty is immense. There's a constant anxiety about the future. Where will we live? How will we earn a living? How will my children continue their education when their schools are damaged or being used as shelters? It's also crucial to acknowledge the incredible work of local community groups, churches, and nonprofits. They were the first responders, organizing food drives, distributing clothing, and offering a shoulder to lean on. Their efforts have been heroic, but they are stretched thin. They lack the resources and scale of government or international aid agencies, but their local knowledge and deep community ties make them incredibly effective. They need our support. So, what happens now? The road to recovery for these communities will be long and arduous. It requires more than just short-term aid. It requires a long-term strategy that addresses the root causes of this vulnerability. This means investing in more resilient infrastructure, enforcing better building codes, and creating economic opportunities outside of the traditional tourism and agricultural sectors. It means developing better early warning systems and evacuation plans that are accessible to everyone, regardless of where they live. And it requires us to listen to the voices of those who are most affected, to understand their needs, their fears, and their hopes for the future. Their stories are not just tales of loss. They are tales of strength, of community, and of an unbreakable will to rebuild. As we conclude, let's remember that behind every statistic about Hurricane Melissa, there is a human face. A mother trying to find a safe place for her children to sleep. A father wondering how he will provide for his family. It's an elderly person who has lost a home they've lived in for 50 years. The struggle continues long after the storm has passed and the news cameras have moved on. If you've been moved by these stories, consider looking into reputable charities and local organizations working on the ground in Jamaica to provide relief and support long-term rebuilding efforts. Your attention and support can make a real difference. Thank you for watching, for listening, and for caring. Please share this video to help raise awareness about the true impact of Hurricane Melissa. Don't forget to subscribe for more in-depth stories that matter. Stay safe and look out for one another.